good morning, everybody. It's Jerry Maniak, your host this morning. I have a special guest on the call here today, which I'll introduce in just a minute. My good friend Ryan Whitty with NASA, or Leverage, but promoting NASA here. But we're going to start the call in just a minute. I got some good stuff for you. Happy Thanksgiving coming up. I'm just going to wait for a few more people to get on the call per the usual when I jump on these. So give it just a minute or two, or maybe 30 seconds, 45 seconds. We'll get the call rolling. So hang tight. Grab a cup of coffee quick if you want. All right. Well, thanks for everybody being with us this morning. I think we're ready to get the call rolling. So it's November 24th. So a couple of housekeeping items. I got a couple items for you today. Some business things. We're going to talk a little product. But we're getting later in the year here. So we have Thanksgiving coming up. So Thanksgiving on Thursday. So ECA does close a little bit early on Wednesday. So if there's some kind of last minute items, the office is closing at 2 o'clock. Some of you guys know how to get a hold of me on my cell phone if something emergency comes up, but I'm sure a lot of you guys is, per normal holidays, Wednesdays, things kind of start slowing down. You're getting ready for Thursday, or maybe there's some travel that's there. And then Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, ECA is closed too as well. Most people, there's your Black Friday shopping, or in my household, there's usually softball games that are going on with my kids during that time. But and then we'll start things up the next week. But I have a couple items towards the end of the call, so hang tight. We're going to talk some product with my good friend Ryan, who's a guest on the call here. He's with Leverage Financial and NASA, and we're going to be talking about the Athos annuity, which is one of the a newer product. NASA has been around for quite a while. I've spent some time with their leadership and a number of the people in that company, and I'm excited really with a lot of what they have going on. Not only from a product standpoint, the products are good. You got to have good products, but you got to have good service. You got to have a good model, and I feel like they're really on the cutting edge or the front end of where service is going. When I look over at some of the carriers that have been along over the years, and they've been around for a long time, and not that NASA hasn't been around, but some of the carriers, their processes and how they do things gets a little bit antiquated. And I feel like NASA is on the front end of that when it comes to service, and the technology that they have to be able to process business. So, there's some carriers, they can't move quickly because their software systems and everything that they have going on is so old, it's hard to move into the 21st century. That's not one of the things with NASA that they're doing, and certainly that allows them to do some really cool stuff with products. But without further ado, I don't want to steal everything. I'm going to go ahead and flip the call to my good friend Ryan here, and he's going to talk a little about the Athos. We're going to have a conversation, and I'm happy to answer some questions too. So go ahead, Ryan. You get the floor here. Let's hear about the Athos annuity here.
Well, really quick, thank you for the time today, guys. Thank you on this holiday week. One quick thing on the service that most people didn't know that I use daily at NASA. If you go onto their website and you start kind of fumbling around and you're clicking around and the chat box pops up, and if you're looking for NIGO, new business questions, like anything you can think of, if you type it in that chat box, there's 4 people from each department monitoring it. It gets you there immediately. I'm now using it daily. Instead of calling my direct contact, your user's like, hang on, let me go look it up. It just sends you to Sandra in new business and she answers. So their chat box is not AI, it is real people monitoring it, and it gets you through things quicker.
That's really nice, Ryan. You think about that just real quick here. For a lot of you guys, I know a lot of you guys will call up us for items, but a lot of times you need to talk to the carrier about something. And you guys probably know when you try to talk to a carrier and you call them, and then you get, it maybe takes forever, or you're waiting on hold with someone. They have a chat box right there where they have someone immediately, so you pretty much instantaneously can get on, get some answers, get back to what you're doing. So that's a really good point, Ryan.
It was awesome. Friday there was a NIGO on something. Monday it wasn't there, and I dropped in the policy number and just said what happened, and they said, yeah, we pushed it forward. That's the nice part of the story, because I thought I needed a jumbo case for. It was fun. It was a good deal. So, well, guys, thank you for the time. Want to talk to you a little about. We launched a new product with NASA late June of this year. It was the first in the industry's new crediting method that we did. It has some really neat mathematics to it, and it's the first extendable point-to-point that's out there. Basically, our team sat down with Genesis that invented pretty much everything in our industry, inclusive all the Anexa stuff and the annual point-to-point and the multi-year point-to-point and the income rider and all the things out there. And we looked at what was going on with the industry and why the yields were as low as they were. So people are like, well, we get great yields. Well, we don't. There's so much in the math that carriers can use a leverage up or leverage down. We wanted to kind of strike that from the universe and just say, hey, let's build something that does performance and protects the client. So after about a year, we found a cure, we found NASA, and we launched it. What's important now is it's designed in one chassis from a participation standpoint just to be a straight accumulation machine. And there's a lot of nuances behind it, and I don't think we're going to dive into it on this particular call. And that represents about 32% of the business out there in the market. The other lion's share of it, it's the annual point-to-point that you guys are familiar with. Most people sell it, or they do a blend, 50-50, 25-75. So with the learning of the last couple of months, we really looked at our S&P cap, and we changed it. So we launched it really low. We did that intentionally because it's not where the vast majority of people we thought were going to go. So where we are today is we have a 12%, 11% in some states, S&P cap of 7%. And some people say, okay, so that is a very competitive product right now because it's not subsidized by any other index. And we can go into that in another call if someone would like to. The difference between ours and everybody else's on this particular size is while Powell is lowering the rates, and he probably will, probably in December now, it sounds like, you're going to start to see all the carriers reduce their caps. You're already seeing it. And they're trying to hedge about 30 days ahead of what the Fed's going to do because they're trying to recapture that. So this week, you'll probably hear it. They'll probably lower again. Ours will increase. So starts at a 7% cap. Every year that there is a positive gain in the account, the client has an option, and they'll get an offer letter at the end of the year to stay with their current rate, or it'll buy up some more. So this product will go from 7% cap to a max of 13.25. And how that works is actually in the illustration. There's a subsequent form that kind of walks you through it. But the bigger the year, the more money there is to play through, the faster it gets there. So if we do a look back over the last 10 years or so, it will hit 13.25 and hold it. Now, apples to apples, this will win 93% of the time against another standard point-to-point. The participation engine that we drove and we made retroactively works, and that wins 100% of the time against the top 8 accumulation products out there in the market, and that's a whole different ball of wax. But it's designed to give as much as possible to the client without question, and that's a lot. So I'm just going to kind of sit there for a second and say, you're on mute, I think. I don't know if you said something there, but
I was just getting the creatures in the back to move. Go ahead. What was your question, Ryan?
No, I thought you said something. I didn't know if someone was going to wave on the background.
No, I will say real quick, there was a comment I was waiting to make, which was, I'm going to talk a little bit about interest rates here after the call a little bit, but, with people, so many people have always, talked about, when it comes to growth or worried about, rates going backwards and whatnot. And really a lot of times with carriers, how they price things out, they really price them out where, basically at some certain point, the concern for people is a renewal rate, right? And the cool part of how this is there's no other products that really have the opportunity. It's just how things are built. You buy a product and they're kind of purchased in an interest rate environment in which you live in, which if it's a great interest rate environment, that's awesome. If it's low, later on down the road, sometimes guys look to be able to replace that. So this is something unique in that, you got your 7% cap, and then like you talk about, Ryan, when you have return, it goes up. This is the first product up there where it has the ability and it's set up to, like you said, you can get up to a 13.25% interest rate. So, you're getting it. You have the option budget where we're at, which is nice, but even then it can still increase, which is unique. But I look at the product just like you said, with a 7% cap right now, and you have the 11 or 12% bonus no fee. That's pretty solid. And then you have the opportunity for it to be able to go up from there.
So
I just
the
love it.
nice thing is nothing is set in stone with this product. So the client has the option and full control every single year. The end of the year, they get their annual statement. They have 15 days to make a selection, which is either stay where I'm at, or they can increase, or how we designed it in the perfect version on the par side, we just have an auto extension. There's a safety mechanism there that protects 9% of the gains, and it just will automatically do what it's supposed to do. So yes, you can meet with your client every single year. Yes, you can have the conversation. Yes, if you're in day 3 after the statement and the stock market tanks, you can change right then and there. So you do get 15 days into the market to be able to make a decision. Oh, tariffs are gone. This is gone. We're going to, switch the index. Let's go par and go heavy. These are things you can do. The carrier doesn't like that. It had to be done from a compliance standpoint for decision making, because we have to have the end of the year data needs to compile before we can give them their option, which ultimately helps the client. Most people haven't seen it. This is a proprietary product. ECA is one of our few partners in the market that has access to it. It is a completely separate contract that's out there. So you're not going to be going up against other people. And if you are, here's some things that only one other product has this. If your client dies on the 11th month of any given year, in 99.9% of the products, they're going to retro them back to the previous anniversary date. We have built in seeing and tracking the values daily, which means your clients will be able to kind of see where they're at throughout the year, like they should, like a Vanguard account, like an IRA. It hasn't credited, but they can at least see it. So if they die on the 11th month, they're going to get credited to that point. That was a design that we wanted to have in there, because you don't want the errors coming in saying, well, wait a minute, we were up, and what about this year? We're gangbusters. So that is something that we felt was very important to get into the product that nobody else actually has out there. We tried like as hard as we could to use traditional controlled indices. We didn't go out and design one. I met with Parabol last week. Jerry went somewhere, I went somewhere else. Met with BlackRock. We looked at different indexes and ideas they had, and we wanted to keep it as clean and easy, recognizable for the client. S&P, NASDAQ. We're not messing with anything else that you can't track.
Yeah, I think that's big. So we got the cap, we got the bonus. I kind of look at, you have the participation rate. You have well-known indices that are out there, where I kind of look at guys kind of in positioning, and we run into, sometimes there's just a bond alternative play where you're looking for a product. Sometimes it's nice to be able to have the bonus. That's guarantees that are in there immediately. And when I look at, it's 11 or 12% bonus, depending on what state you're in, that you get with the product. And then you have a really solid cap too. Really what I'm looking at too, so the bonus, you can use it to offset a surrender, if you're trying to replace something, and then you get a strong cap. But also, you can look at it too, that technically speaking, because you're getting that 7% cap on an account that's 12% higher, you can kind of look at that, because you're getting compounding interest. Like the cap is 12% higher than 7%, really. So you're really around a 7.8 cap is what it's equivalent to coming out the gate, which is really strong when you have that high bonus, because you're getting compounding interest on an account that's 12% higher. So that's something that some of us forget sometimes, but it may be some of those just standard growth situations that we're looking to put it in there, or it may be a replacement scenario. I think those areas are nice. And then I think, like Ryan said too, I love the daily crediting on there, because when you get an older client, if you're thinking, and I know we're not used to this, but it's kind of a nice feature for certain people, yeah, because if you're in the 11th hour or the 11th month, all of a sudden it's client passes away and they're in the middle of a capped out S&P cap year, they're going to get that crediting, and that's just another little detail. When you're in maybe you're in a competitive situation and someone's showing something else that I think is important, and you can have there.
I would 100%
Well,
agree.
and on this product here too as well, guys. So, and I don't want to jump out of order here, depending on what you wanted to talk about. But should we talk about comp a little bit, Ryan, or there's some more product deals? I always like to round it out with comp. Was there any other important points you wanted to talk about?
There's probably a million important points, but I think comp probably moves itself to the front. So Standard Street is 7.25. They are running a 75 basis point agent incentive through the end of the year. Must pay by the end of it's like February 18th. You got to fund it. Can't hold it indefinitely. You got to be issued. We saw some traction with that. Saw a ton of questions as soon as we raised the S&P cap. And this is something like, if you're looking at someone that is heavy accumulation, call into Jerry's team, have them run it. It's going to blow your mind how well this thing does, especially if you run it the way that I want you to run it. On the participation side, it starts on the TCA at a 50%. It'll ratchet up above 88% inside of that term. So this thing is designed to continue to grow and protect your clients and make them money. And it's the only one out there. Oh, it's patent pending. It's ours. You're not going to see this at Athene. Nexus is now they're upset. It's going to kind of slow. We firmly believe this is where the industry is going to go, where you're going to start to see some sort of hybrids of point-to-point and multi-year point-to-points to give better yield. I mean, annual point-to-point was made 30 years ago. Multi-year point-to-point 18 years ago, both by the Genesis Group. This is the new iteration of where we think everything's going to go. And it's just better math, guys. It's really not, we didn't even use AI. It's just a cleaner math. And most people can't go up against you if you have it. So if you've got a product and you're doing Equitrust or you're doing something else, have them run it for you just so you can take a look at it. There will be a no bonus version Q1 of next year. We will be putting an income rider on it mid-year. We're arguing about math on how that's going to work.
Okay. All right. I love it. So 7.25 street comp. By the way, this product writes age 85, and it's pretty competitive at the older age for comp too as well. It's 5%, I believe it looks like here, till age 85. Additional comp bonus. So like Ryan said, 8% on business that's paid before the end of the year. One little housekeeping item on it. It is a 7% free withdrawal. So it's not your 10, it's not your 5. It's in at 7, which is still good, because most withdrawals that we're going to take if you need it, I don't think that 3% really hurts you, and it just allows you to have a little bit more actuarial room to do some of the stuff that we're doing on here. So, and like Ryan was talking about, they have the participation rate. A lot of times, if I'm in a, no matter what product I'm using, I like to do a little bit of a blend of some index in there. And so if we put, if we love the cap, which a lot of us do because it's simple, it's easy, you get good crediting, you have the participation rate too as well. Maybe it's 50% S&P cap, 25 par rate, S&P 25 NASDAQ, or 70-30 of some blend. You can talk to Nate and Dan and myself, and we'll kind of show you how we would do it. But, if you have questions, you have cases you're working on, the guys will show you what it looks like. You can call, get some illustrations. We can show you. I think it's solid all around, and it's unique and gives you some different options and some things to be able to talk about too as well with clients on that. So I know you got a busy day, Ryan. Is there anything else you wanted to add? Otherwise, I won't keep you all day.
No, it's pretty simple. RMDs are always friendly. They can come out. As you said, we intentionally picked the 7%. We ran the numbers on all the products that we could find in the country. 94% of everyone out there takes 5% or less. That's just the industry standard. So we juiced it back. I mean, that was the kind of decisions that we had to make. Just got green lit for Indiana, which was a holdout for us. It goes live on the 28th. And then New York is a never. For whatever reason, Maine is kind of slow rolling, and California, we're crossing our fingers by Christmas. Otherwise, we're everywhere else. Indiana was a big change. It's funny how the one state that we haven't had, everyone calls about and says, "We've got all this business in it, do you?" Um, but that's kind of what's going on. So happy to work with anyone at any time. Reach out to Jerry's team. I've got a slew of videos, training material. It's all out there. Everything you possibly can need. Um, Happy to do a deep dive if need be, or help you at any point.
All right. Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate you having being on. Have a happy Thanksgiving, my man.
Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Well, you guys can stick around here. I just wanted to talk with you on a couple of items here too as well. One of them, we've had some interest rate. Mr. Powell's dropped interest rates a few times here, and there's some talks of it happening again. Nice thing is, it really doesn't matter where interest rates are going. FIAs, in terms of the peers of products who we're working with, and really honestly, product rates and everything haven't dropped. Everything's still awesome. It's still competitive, and I expect it to be that way and stay that way too as well. But it really hasn't affected product too much so far. And so I think that's positive in how we've looked at product. But where I have seen some wins a little bit is there's some positive MBAs that are out there. I have seen some of them. Obviously, when you're looking, there's got to be an improvement in rates, and that's where I think the NASA product can be a story that's unique in that. And so I have seen some policies that are written where they're actually getting paid to move out if you can actually improve it. So something to keep an eye on and look at out there with product. But we'll see how things continue to move along. There's a lot of great stuff that's out there in terms of product. The Roth Blueprint, if you guys haven't jumped on board and taken a look at that, getting towards the end of the year here, if you're looking at, hey, I want to take steps forward. There's a lot of different things we can be doing, right? I mean, we can have lunch and learns with existing client books. I know I've had some guys that are looking at doing, maybe they don't want to go out and do traditional cold marketing with seminars. I think that there's a phenomenal opportunity we have with the Roth Blueprint software and the seminar presentation. That presentation right now, in terms of mailing that we're getting on it, if you did one, we have all the materials. It's a turnkey system for you to plug in to do marketing, use the 21-point checklist. But we're averaging between 1.4 and 1.7 on the mailing, which is probably the greatest mailing results we've seen in the last 20 years. And I love it because it's a mailing that is appealing to someone that says, hey, I like Roth conversions. So then they come to a seminar event, and that's what it's about. And then they want to make an appointment to talk about it. So there's no bait and switchy feeling. Clients are coming and you're giving them exactly what they're looking for, which is what we want to talk about. And those average case sizes on that are $700,000. And you're getting in front of high net worth people that have money. So when people are looking at Roth conversions, they're not looking to get an extra $200 of Social Security. You're dealing with wealthy people and problems that wealthy people have. And so if you're looking, hey, I want to grow my business next year, I want to at bats in front of high quality, qualified prospects. Talk to Dan, talk to Nate, talk to myself. We can talk with you about how that's working, how guys that are doing marketing, how things are going for them. But in general, if you're like, I want to get myself in a position to be able to do that, then there's other ways to do it too. Talk to your clients that have IRAs. You could put on a lunch and learn at little to no cost, invite 4 or 5 couples that are clients of yours into your office, or you can rent a space if you don't have an office, and you could put on the Roth Blueprint event and tell them, hey, invite a friend with. That's something that's inexpensive. Or you could even do a client appreciation event where you invite a handful of your clients rent out a back room of a restaurant, just buy your clients dinner, which would be a nice way to be able to connect with them, and then go through the Roth story and say invite a few of your a few friends with, and then just show them the story. The story speaks for itself. If they have money and you can show people that it actually makes sense to pay the taxes now instead of paying taxes later, people are engaged and want to move forward on that. We've seen a tremendous amount of success with that. So, I'm grateful. We're getting to Thanksgiving here. I'm grateful for all of you. I'm grateful for the business, what it does for us, and that we get to help. We get to help clients. We get to provide people peace of mind in retirement, guaranteed income, um, we prevention, peace of mind when we're in retirement, that we can get growth on our money, but we don't have to participate in the risk if we don't want to, so we can continue to enjoy the retirement that they had in mind. And I take our job seriously in what we do for clients, because time is money, and these clients have spent a lot of their time accumulating these dollars that they have over 30, 40, or 50 years. And we do a great thing for people so that they can enjoy their time with the money that they've made. And you guys all do a great job and work through the 5Q system that was set up to put clients first. And so I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful for you guys. So, we're coming up. It's been about 30 minutes. I appreciate you. Go ahead. Roth Blueprint questions, as always. Talk to the guys. The new NASA Athos product with increasing rates, which is, I like the way it sounds right now when the Fed's talking about lowering rates. We have great things here, but I appreciate you. Again, office is closing at 2:00 on Wednesday. Office will be closed on Friday, and we'll see you next Monday. Thank you.